So I was waiting until we got the final details regarding what the devs were going to do on the Squadra Blast tournament in order to just make a video on it so we can cover everything. I know a lot of people may be confused, especially if you're a little outside the Action Squadra bubble. So we'll be talking about exactly what happened in a chronological order and what Action Squadra is going to be taking regarding the rule breaking of the Squadra Blast EU 2026 tournament. So if you weren't aware, a violation was found from one of the participating teams that ended up winning the tournament, and that led to a spiral of people being upset because at the end of the day, people feel like you shouldn't break any rules regardless of what rule it is. And I think it is a completely fair reaction. So again, we're going to take a look here at the chronological order. Abe actually did make a tweet regarding this. Now, Abe is the team representative of the team that actually did do this. So, to clarify everything that happened, 3 days prior to the tournaments, okay, well, Battlefield 6, just interrupting here. 3 days prior to the tournaments, one of their teammates decided to drop out for personal reasons. So ended up leaving the 3 other players without enough people to participate. So this team was actually guaranteed a spot in the 2026 Action Squadra tournaments because of the fact that they won 2025 Squadra Blast. And one of their players decided, I don't want to play anymore. You know, for whatever reason, personal reasons, they don't want to play. So they then decided to ask one of their friends, who is also a tank player, to join the team instead so that the team could still participate. That player did agree and decided to play for him instead. So nothing was done to cheat their way into winning, but more as a last result to not be disqualified. And what he means by that is his team didn't use any cheating tools, didn't hack the game or anything like that, just had someone else sub in. It was trying not to be secretive about it, and a lot of people kind of weren't, people that weren't in the know were just kind of talking about it a bit, and that led to a lot of controversy within the community itself because of this next point here. Even though a lot of the high-ranked teams participating knew beforehand, such as Swag's team, Zan's team, Ramon's team, and Oathkeeper, and were completely understanding the situation, this was at the end of the day against the rules. And whether Abe or even anyone thinks that the rules are stupid, it was still wrong, and agrees to accept any consequences that will fall on him for breaking the rules. As team captain, this was in the end Abe's decision, so anyone else participating in the team should not be held accountable. And the reason why a lot of people got really upset at this is because in Squadra Blast 2025, or even this upcoming tournament, there's a lot of teams who can't participate because sub-ins are actually officially not allowed for Squadra Blast tournaments. And we'll talk more about that later, but right now the rule is if your team that was registered all can't participate, then you are just disqualified from the tournament. You can't allow anyone else to play instead of the registered players that were available. Now, I'm sure that the reason for this is because they actually do in-game name checks. So with that in mind, if you're not the account owner of that person and you join it with or even join it with a different account with someone who wasn't, you know, I guess verified with their name, if it fits the tournament regulations, because they don't allow like names that reference, you know, third-party media or just like other media in general for copyright issues, I'm sure. They just kind of want to avoid that, and that's why they probably don't allow sub-ins in general. They also don't allow account trading or people logging into other people's accounts. So that's why they in general just don't allow, I guess, sub-ins right here. In the end, Abe was glad that they were still able to play the best players in the region and prove that they're still the strongest players the games has by winning the game's hardest tournament to date. They apologized for breaking the rules, and he apologizes further for not being 100% transparent. Abe wants to clarify that he is completely aware that he is not a victim of any sorts and did make this decision at the end of the day. Now, I do want to address this last point right here because I think it is very important before we hop into what Squadra is actually going to do here. So, Abe wants to clarify that he doesn't associate himself with any bigoted comments or statements made from the people on his team, and he just plays the video game. Now, this statement was also made by Annie in terms of, I don't agree with what this player did say. And funny enough, this player ended up being the player that was subbed out for the tournament, Oros. So this tweet was made right here. This guy Oros was considered to be a tournament winner after having someone else play on his accounts. When he was confronted about it, he went on a multiple-hour argument session with members of the community and friends of Diana here, ended up resorting to transphobic comments as well, and he is a POS. Again, I want to just kind of bring this up here because this is very disgusting to see right here from someone who was a previous Squadra Blast tournament winner and someone who decided, hey, I'm gonna quit last minute and make someone else play for me on my account, which is kind of just messed up in all honesty. And also Oros did say things like they them energy, making fun of their friend Annie regarding this, knowing that Annie does go by these pronouns. Annie themselves said, I don't agree with these statements. Also, they're disgusting, right? Talking about trans Majutsu characters, your profile photo, focus on drama in a Hello Kitty mobile game, present age, occupation, and BMI at once, which is just like, okay, what are you talking about? Happy Women's Day to the biological woman in the server. I'm not homophobic, I just don't care about your made-up pronouns. No one should force their BS and others. It's just like really weird, odd statements of someone that reeks like they're a basement dweller in their mom's basement. I just a sad thing that, you know, you're asked to give, you know, details on it. And even right here, you just kind of butted in and just were like, yeah, actually, I'm going to be transphobic. I hate trans people, which is a disgusting thing, obviously. And this person should be just ostracized from the community. It seems like Oros, you know, didn't really care about the game much anyways, considering that they didn't want to participate regardless. So hopefully this person is just going to be far away from the community at this point. This is just disgusting to see. And I feel like this kind of didn't get swept under the rug, but a lot of people didn't really give this, I feel like, the attention that it really did need. In fact, I myself should have retweeted that, so I'm going to retweet this right now. This is just gross. And I think that more attention should be brought to this controversy as well, especially since now we have a resolution on what was going on here. So yesterday they became aware of a potential violation of the tournament teams and conditions terms and conditions during Squadra Blast EU number 1 held on March 7th. They are currently conducting a thorough review to confirm the facts, and further details will be shared as soon as they become available. Now, about 5 or 6 hours ago, we got an official statement from Squadra Blast themselves in regards to what actions they would actually take here. So they confirmed that yes, the tournament entry game account was accessed by a third party and the team member was not registered as the owner of the accounts. So what happened here is, after careful deliberation, they decided to provide the disciplinary measures below on the 4 members of the team concerns. So Team Abe had a revocation of the championship title, including withdrawal of the championship prizes, and issuance of a formal warning to the team members regarding consequences in the event of any future violations. They also do want to note that we don't condone any harassment, defamation, or other abusive behavior towards any individual within the game community. So this is funny, you know, considering this. I'm not sure if this is what they're talking about here, but I'm gonna just put that out. Now, impact with the tournament results. In accordance with the above measures, all matches in this tournament, including both the open and main stage in which the team participated in, will be recorded as forfeit instead, and their opponents will be awarded wins by forfeit. Rankings will be adjusted accordingly. Now, the final standings of the tournament are: first place, Team Swag; second place, Team Chow, Lady Kimmy; fourth place was both Ramon and Team Yugo. In light of this violation, we will review and strengthen our preventive measures to ensure the continued integrity and fairness of our tournaments. We remain committed to maintaining a fair competition and to further develop Squadra Blast together with the community. Then, of course, the team does appreciate the continued support of Gexon Squadra and Squadra Blast itself. So that is the action that ended up being taken here. The team was disqualified in terms of rewards and actually winning the tournament, and now it was rewarded to Team Swag instead. And that is the entire timeline of everything that happened from point A to point B. In regards to this, the last thing I really do want to say is while again, I agree that the team shouldn't have done this, right? Subbing in someone was against the rules, and at the end of the day, they still did get disqualified, even though it was nice to go ahead and play and show off how good they actually were. This is still just something that goes against what the actual rules would be, and just ends up making a lot of people feel mad. However, a lot of people do agree that this rule itself is not a good rule. Not allowing sub-ins is not something that is really a common thing in other games. Now, Bandai games do a lot of things that aren't really common in other games as well. So, you know, I kind of understand, like, at the end of the day, they're able to set what rules they want for their tournaments. That is perfectly fine. But I feel like they should look into the possibility of allowing sub-ins in regards to future Squadra Blast, just because, especially since they also increased the time frame for how long Squadra Blast lasts now. It used to be shorter, and now it is a lot longer between matches, and that just leads to, okay, I need to have a 10-hour plus commitment to this tournament in order to fully participate. And it just leads to issues where, like, obviously not everyone is going to be able to put aside everything in life that happens just for this tournament here. And I feel like, you know, maybe not last minute sub-ins, like, oh, we're 30 minutes before or the time, we can't sub someone in. But if it's something that you could plan for ahead of time and you knew days in advance, I don't see why sub-ins might not be allowed. And again, like I said, it could be due to completely just like copyright reasons. There's, you know, a due process for review, and they do it ahead of time to just avoid any last minute reviews. Sure. But I again, I think that it shouldn't be too difficult to go ahead and allow something like this to happen, especially if it was still a few days ahead of time. But that's just me, and a lot of other people do agree with it, that that rule in itself should be changed. I think it would only just benefit people, because at the end of the day, it only just takes away from the tournament rather than adds on to it. I would say, obviously, logging into someone else's account is something that should still probably not be allowed, because you could have literally anyone log into your account. You could have the same person almost participate in two different teams if you're logging into different account and still just playing at the same time. It's a, or maybe not the exact same time, but you guys get the point. I guess it'd be very hard to do that in the Swiss section of the tournament, because all matches are ongoing at the same exact time, so can't really do both matches. But you guys get the point here. That is my kind of take on this situation here. I think that a lot of people would want these players to just be banned from the game itself, and I don't think that they would do that, and I don't think that's necessary. I think just being revoked of any of these championship titles, and again, if they do repeat this action in the future, they will receive further consequences that will be more harsh, which could even be a ban from the game itself. So I think this is fair, in all honesty, but let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you guys think that they should have gone a little tougher? Do you guys think that they should add a actual sub-in policy for the future? I appreciate y'all for watching the video, and catch you guys in the next Action Squadra breakdown. Peace out.